too. But thank you so much for having us. This date's been on our calendar for like a year because these girls really plan. They called me last Sunday and they're like, do you have a second? So I call and they're like asking about training. They're like, so give us the agenda. I was like, oh, no. I'll tell you that on Monday when we get to training. You will learn that I am a hot mess, okay? Very open about it, and then it's okay, and it just works. But I think it's important,
my kind of girl.
you know, sometimes you hear like who's training us and how did they get started in Premier, and so I'm going to share a little bit with you. Oh, before I do, there are yellow Post-its on your table. And later, we're going to have a leadership section, and if you are staying for that, the first part I have something I want to talk about, but the second part, I would love to hear any leadership questions that you're wondering, like what do you want out of it? So if you have any ideas, just sometime between now and 8 o'clock, write it on the Post-it so that I can answer. Okay, back to the testimony part. So sometimes we think we have our lives all planned out for us, and I never thought selling jewelry would be my plan. However, God had a plan for me, just like He does everyone in this room. And I love the devotion that Kelly shared because God really does have a plan for all of us. Like, there's nobody that is an exception to that rule. Like, God has a big plan for your life. And if you feel like He doesn't, trust me, He does. But this gold jewelry box was proof to me of the way God communicated how I was supposed to be in Premier. So see, Steve and I got married in July of 2009, and a few months before that, in March, my aunt had come to visit me, and she said, oh, I have a gift for you, and she gave me this jewelry box, and inside was the Love Cuff bracelet, and I didn't wear jewelry, and I honestly didn't even like the bracelet. I went online to see where I could return it. But I thought she shops at boutiques like in her town, so I was searching all the local boutiques and I couldn't find it, so I just put the box away. And I was like, forget that. So anyway, that same day though, I remember being filled with worry because our wedding was coming really soon, and Steve and I were paying for the majority of our wedding, and I don't know what weddings are like in Rochester, but down where we live, it cost us like $75,000. And so we paid for 90% of that. We worked really hard with this like long engagement, and I went back to waitressing, and then I'm like, man, why didn't I don't have Premier at the time, because that would have really helped. But all of that stress was really causing worry on my heart. And so I stored this bracelet away, the wedding happens. A couple months after we get married, my sister-in-law joins Premier. And I was at her house, and she's telling me all about her first party coming up, and she's like, hey, check out the catalog, and then I checked out the catalog, and I'm like, this jewelry is ugly. I didn't really wear jewelry, and honestly, the catalogs are way more beautiful than they were 6 years ago. So I was like, oh man, I'm just gonna go because she made a big deal about it, but like I'm not buying anything for myself. Maybe there's somebody I can Christmas shop for. Well, needless to say, I ended up going to the party, and I ended up having a lot of fun. I mean, I came late because I didn't know people go to parties on time. Early because I wasn't feeling well, but I did get the fashion segment, and her Premier mom like really had me thinking about accessorizing that I ended up buying the Newport necklace, which is still in, and the knockout bracelet, which is my favorite bracelet at the time. And I ended up purchasing jewelry for me, and I went to work that Monday, and I was decked out in jewelry for my sister. So I definitely found the need to accessorize, but prior to that, I had never been to a home show. Besides, well, I went to a Southern Living party because my neighbor was like, I can tell you're home, come here right now. And I was like, oh, okay, she caught me. Should have put my car in the garage. But I honestly, I don't know why, I just was not a fan of the direct sales industry. I thought it was a scam. And that was really just me being uneducated and misinformed because I don't know where our life would be without the direct sales industry. It's amazing. Like Melissa said, I'm a teacher. I taught for 11 and a half years. I was one of those kids that grew up and knew like I was going to be a teacher. There was no question about it. But it's exciting that God has brought me through this path, and you know, after 11 and a half years teaching, I was able to resign from my teaching position, which was a hoot because I would tell people like, yeah, you know, I'm gonna leave teaching, and they're like, oh, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, what? Premiere. And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess. But it's been like, and people say, are you nervous? And honestly, I am not nervous. I'm not worried. I didn't even cry. I like gave away all my stuff and walked out my purse, and I was like, this has been fun. A great school year. But you know, when Premiere came into my life and I went to that jewelry show, I had no intention of selling jewelry. You know, I barely had any intention of going. But I'm really grateful that I went. And what happened was I had booked a show because my sister-in-law wanted to hit Quick Start, and her Premiere mom explained the importance of Quick Start, and I was newly married to Steve, so I couldn't say no. But I was like, I'll have a party, but it has to be on like the 45th day, because I'm going to need time. And nobody's probably going to come, but like, as long as you're okay with that, like, we'll do it. Well, in between that time, Steve talks to his sister almost every day. And so he was getting really intrigued to how she can go to a jewelry party and make a few $100s in just a few hours. And she was loving it. And she didn't join for financial reasons, like was our reason. She was a mom of 2 boys, and she needed to get out of the house. Like, she just felt like she had lost herself, and she wanted to go do something where she could get dressed up and, you know, be around women. Because she's an extrovert like Steve. I'm an introvert. Very, like, when Dave brought that mic to me and wanted me to talk on it, I was like, I'm not prepared. But I made it through, so don't worry. So anyway, Steve kept talking to his sister, and then one day she calls me and says, Diane, I don't know how we could possibly share my jewelry kit because you live an hour away from me. And I'm like, what? So I said, Genya, I am so sorry, but I have no idea what you're talking about. And she's like, oh, Steve said that you're going to do Premiere, and he was asking if we could like share the kit. Okay, well, when he gets home, I'm going to talk to him. And honestly, like, here I didn't even want to have a jewelry show, nonetheless, sell the jewelry. And I honestly felt that I was busy. Like, although the wedding was over, you know, I was teaching full-time. I was the president of our homeowners association. So to me, I was like, oh, I'm too busy to do that. Now I realize that time is just a priority. And if you want to do something, you'll make that time for it. So, Steve kept trying, like, I think you should do this, like, just give it a shot, what do you have to lose, it could be good for you, on and on for a few weeks. And then one day he was working in restaurant management, and so anyone who's been in that industry knows that it's a lot of nights and a lot of weekends, and so there was one Saturday night that he was working late, and I was like, you know what, let me just check this out. And I'm a big researcher, so I went on the computer and I spent hours looking up Premiere, and then looking up everything I could find about Premiere, and then any other company that I knew that was in the industry, or led me to other companies. And what I had realized was that nobody even came close to Premiere. And so I thought, you know what, like, maybe I should just try this. Because if I'm trying it, at least it seems like I'm doing it with the best. Little did I know really how amazing Premiere was at the time. I didn't intend to sponsor, just gonna do some jewelry shows. And I had my training show, and I ended up, by honestly the grace of God, I had 3 shows that next weekend. So my training show was on Friday, and then I had 3 people that were going to do shows for me. Those were the only shows on my calendar for my training show, but they happened to be the next weekend, and I made $1,500 profit. And I was like, whoa, I could do this. Well, just around that time, one of my best friends was really struggling financially. And so she didn't know what she was going to do, and I was like, you know what? You should do Premiere with me. Like, Genya, that's my sister-in-law, really loves it, and she's making money, and like, my friend is a mom, and I said, like, just try it, you know? So we had her training show December 1st. She had borrowed money to get in because she didn't have any money, or she couldn't get the jewelry reward card. And right after Christmas, she had sent me a card, and the card was about how grateful she was that I opened my mouth and I shared Premiere with her, because she didn't go into details, but at the time, Christmas was coming, and she was afraid that she wasn't going to be able to buy her daughter any Christmas gifts. And she kind of just played it off like she's only 2 years old, she won't remember that she didn't get any Christmas gifts. But because of Premiere, she was able to pay back the money that that she borrowed and fill the tree with Christmas gifts. And so I still have that card today, and it's just like right then it hit me like, wow, I need to share this with more people, because if one of my friends was struggling and had that worry in her heart and I didn't even know it was that bad, like I can't even imagine the other people that might come to my shows. And so I was just on a mission to share Premier like crazy. We had sponsored 28 jewelers in our first 12 months. A lot of them were our hostesses. So your hostesses are your #1 key prospect. And let's see, part of our upline too, so like we came in this business, but we didn't have an upline support at all. And so the only way that we learned how to do anything was through training. And there weren't even a lot of YouTube videos back then. There was like Jammies and Jewelry, which I'm so grateful for. But you know what, I love seeing, especially these brand new jewelers who just joined like on Thursday and Tuesday, that they're here. This is the best thing you can do. Surround yourself at training with people that, you know, have a plan to change their life for the better and change others, because that is seriously what grew our business. By Chance or by Design comes in your kit. Read that book. You will really start to learn a lot more about Premier, and that's going to give you more confidence, and it's going to help you with your business tremendously. Talked about rally, like January 9th regional rally, and there seems to be an event coming the night before. Like plan for those 2 nights to be in Albany. We'll be there, which is exciting because all our teams will be combining. And it's something that is just really non-negotiable when you're a business owner. You want to be there. Save the date for July with National Rally, because those things, when you start to treat this business like a business, even if you're working it along this full-time job like I was with teaching, you're going to get bigger and better results. 6 months after I started Premier, Steve left his full-time job, which honestly he tricked me. But and then he got fired by me many, many times because he thought he was retired. I would hear him on the phone. He'd be like talking to his friends, like, "Yeah, I could go golfing. I have the life now, retired." But I had heard somewhere early on in my business that if you worked really hard in your business for 6 months, you would be able to replace an income. And although that wasn't our intention, we were able to do that. Premier has helped Steve and I become better versions of ourselves. And I think when you own a business, that will naturally, you know, happen in the process, but also being part of Premier really plays a big role in that. Premier's brought us closer to God. It's given us incredible friends. It's helped us through many difficult times. I honestly could not imagine where our life would be had we not had Premier yet, or still do today. I hope our story shows you that you don't want to prejudge somebody because they don't wear any jewelry, or they show up late to the party, or they say they don't have time, because the truth is that with hard work and commitment, anything is possible, and you can recreate your future. My favorite quote is make the rest of your life the best of your life, and through Premier, you have an opportunity to do that, and I really encourage you to become just the best version of yourself. And remember, God has a plan for you, like Jeremiah 29:11, that's my life verse. For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. That is a promise to all of us in this room. Okay, so I'm going to call my hubby up because we're going to talk about going for the no. Because I don't know if you know this,